Hello everyone and welcome back to Age of Nagash, which is a channel dedicated to Age of Sigmar. Now in this video it's going to be my reaction to the updated Warscrolls for the Flesh Eater Courts. So this is something that's just been put on the Age of Sigmar app today. I've only just become aware of it, been busy this morning, so I've only just become aware of it. Having a look now, it's the first time looking at them, so what I want to do is share it with you guys on the channel obviously, and give you my honest opinions on what I think of the changes. I've only seen a couple of changes so far, some of them have been quite good. So what I will say is the reason why I'm doing this video is, like I said, it's a reaction. I will look over the Warscrolls again when I have the battle tome, because it's all very well and good saying, looking over the Warscrolls, say, oh, well, that's changed, that's not very good, and all that sort of thing. However, we don't know exactly all the synergies in the new Flesh Eater Courts army, how it's going to be when the battle tome comes out. So, like I say, this is literally just an initial reaction, and then I'll do a proper one when I have the book and when I properly review it and so on. So this video, like I said, is going to be a quick one. Also, the other thing to say is I won't be putting up the Warscrolls for this video, because the only way I found them so far is on my phone, and taking a screenshot from my phone and then uploading it to the computer and then trying to crop it and edit it so it's not too blurry. It's just going to be too much of a pain in the arse. So just going to basically read them out and tell you guys what I think. So the first one we're going to look at is the Abhorrent Ghoul King on foot. So he's got a movement of 6 inch, 4+ save, bravery 10, 6 wounds, so that hasn't changed. His attack hasn't changed. He still has the raw blood, so he heals D3 wounds in each hero phase, so that's always good that he's got that. His command ability, summon at arms, so you can use his command ability at the end of your movement phase. If you do so, pick a friendly model that has this command ability and has not used it before in the battle. That model summons 1 unit of 10 crypt ghouls onto the battlefield. The summon unit is added to your army and must be set up wholly within 6 inches of the edge of the battlefield and more than 9 inches away from enemy units. So this hasn't changed as far as I'm aware. The only thing I think that has changed on it is that you do it, well, you do it at the end of your movement phase. I think that's the same. However, you can only use this once per game. Now, before, it was a case of the first time they used it, it didn't cost you any like army building points. However, if you wanted to use it again, it was going to cost you army building points. I think that's how it was before, as far as I'm aware. I didn't really use it that way. I just used it to get the free unit. But I think you could do it again. It just would have cost you army building points. And what it says is you can use the command ability at the end of your movement phase. If you do so, pick a friendly model that has this command ability. Okay, so if you've got like multiple ghouls, you can, Ghoul Kings, you can still do it multiple times. So yeah, like I said, I don't think that's really changed that much. A Black Hunger, I'm just reading through that. That hasn't changed. That's his spell. So I don't really think the Abhorrent Ghoul King's changed. The Abhorrent Ghoul King on Terrorgeist we'll look at. He has got movement hasn't changed. His wounds hasn't changed. His save and his bravery hasn't changed. His attacks. Just looking at the screaming attack, and that hasn't changed. The skeletal claws hasn't changed. The fanged maw might have changed, so let's have a look. So it's got the gaping maw ability, which is if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the model's fanged maw is a 6, that attack inflicts 6 mortal wounds on the target unit and the attack sequence ends. Do not make a wound roll or save roll. Okay, so this has changed. It used to be wound rolls of a 6 were doing the 6 mortal wounds. I think it used to be before that, it used to be hit rolls. However, the good thing about this is unmodified hit rolls, because if it was just flat like on a 6+ to hit, you do 6 more wounds. I would not like that at all. Yes, you could say, oh, you could give them pluses to hit somewhere and all that sort of thing, then they could do it on a 5+. Yeah, but the enemy is much more easier going to be able to make you minuses to hit and would get rid of that ability. So glad that's on a modified hit roll of a 6, and I think it being to hit than to wound is probably gives you better odds. So yes, and that is good. So that is a good change there. So first change, good change. Then we've got infested. So if this model is slain, yeah, that hasn't changed. Royal blood hasn't changed. Apologies if I'm not reading them all out and stuff. It's just a bit quicker and stuff. I always be here all day. The command ability hasn't changed. However, instead of saying you can set up a unit of 3 crypt flares, crypt horrors, it has set up a unit of 3 knights. So I presume, we'll find out in a moment, but I presume that is going to be a keyword which the flares and the horrors have. So yeah, that's the only change there in name. It's the same we saw for the apparent Ghoul King on foot. They've just changed the name of ghouls or crit ghouls to serfs, I think it's pronounced. And then looking at his magic, has that changed? Yeah, so you pick one friendly Flesh-Eater Court unit wholly within 24 inches of the caster, and they get a 5+ extra death save essentially against wounds and mortal wounds. That has changed because it used to be, I believe, just pick a unit within 18 inches of the caster, and now it's wholly 24 inches, so bigger range but has to be wholly. And yep, so that's it for him. Any keywords that have changed? Don't think so. Maybe abhorrent is a new keyword, maybe that wasn't there before. Then going on to the one on a zombie dragon. His shoot and attack hasn't changed from what I can see. The gory talons for the abhorrent Ghoul King on top haven't changed. The snapping maw hasn't changed. The sword-like claws, well, how many attacks? Yeah, 7 attacks, so that's the same as it was. And then Pestilence Breath has not changed either, so that's good. And then the Summon Courtier. So let's read this out. So you can use this command ability at the end of your movement phase. Yep, that hasn't changed at all. It's just Summon 1 Courtier, so the same as it was. Magic, Malefic Hunger. Okay, so they've changed it. It used to be Feeding Frenzy, but that was the same ability as another ability, so they've changed it so there's no confusion. Cards phase 6. Until your next hero phase, you can reroll wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by friendly Flesh-Eater Court units that are wholly within 6 inches of the cast. Okay, so didn't used to be wholly, however, before it used to be 10 or 8 inch range, I think 10 inch range. So a bigger range, however, wholly, so just bear that in mind. We got quite a big base of my dragon. So yep, that's that. And like I said, keywords haven't changed. So I think abhorrent might be a new keyword, but that would be about it. Okay, and then looking at the next one, we're going to look at, let's look at a courtier. Let's look at the big one. Let's look at the Vargolf, shall we? So his stats haven't changed from what I can see. No, that's all the same. Yep, and then going on to the abilities, we've got a Master Royal Household. So in your hero phase, roll 6 dice for each friendly Vargolf Courtier on the battlefield. For each 2+, you can turn 1 stay model to a friendly serfs unit within 10 inches of the Vargolf Courtier. So serfs are your crypt ghouls. And then it says for each 5+, you can turn a 1 stay model to a friendly knights unit within 10 inches of that Vargolf instead. And then it goes on a little bit further, but the rest of that hasn't changed. Okay, so the only change here is it's changed the keyword. So what that means is instead of regenerating crypt ghouls, you're regenerating serfs. Exactly the same thing. We've got the keyword, and then generating, cryptos, crypt flares. They've called them knights now, so a bit more unified. And going on to the next ability, so we've got Feed on Dark Magic. So if a friendly abhorrent within 18 inches of this model successfully casts a spell and it is not unbound, you can reroll hit rolls for this model until the start of your next hero phase. So that hasn't changed. King's Champion, so add 2 to the attacks characteristics of this model, minced claws, if it is within 3 inches of 10 or more enemy models when you pick the target unit for its attacks. Okay, so I thought this was a new ability for a second, but it's not a new ability. It was always there, maybe different name, but always there. I just never really get it off because I don't really make sure he's in range of 10 or more. But, it does happen, obviously, every so often. And then it's got Victory Feast, which, if it kills any monsters, he heals D3 wounds at the end of that combat phase. That is the same as his ability used to be. So, and then moving on to our next courtier, let's stick with the wings and go with the Infernal Courtier. So the Infernal Courtier stats haven't changed. No, they're the same. And then going into the abilities, so right, okay, so the first thing, just reading it, has changed. So we've got Skewing Strike. So if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the Skewing Talon is a 6, that attack inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to normal damage. Okay, so it used to be inflicts 2 mortal wounds to the enemy instead of its normal damage, because it's, damage 2. But now it just does a mortal wound on top. I don't know if that's better or worse for this guy, just because I was usually quite unlucky with him. I didn't really get any 6s to hit. But if you did every so often, you would be doing 2 straight mortal wounds to the enemy. Now you can't do that. You'd be doing 1 mortal wound to the enemy, but you have potential of that attack going through further to the enemy and doing the 2 normal damage. So if you're going against enemies with, like bad saves and all that sort of thing, it's definitely a better plus. It's probably a better plus all in all honesty. And we've got a Master Royal Guard. So this just lets you set up the crypt flares, basically return them to the unit within 10 inches of this guy. That hasn't changed at all, so we're all used to that. So then going on to the Crypt Haunter Courtier, see if he's changed much. So same stats, Noble Blood, so still healing that wound. Chosen the King, so you can reroll failed hit rolls for attacks made by this model within 18 inches of any friendly abhorrent. So that's good. I think before it was 15 inches from what I remember, so it hasn't got any worse, I know that much. Master King's Chosen, so this hasn't changed, it's just the same returning models to a unit as it was before. Okay, and then we're going to go on to our last courtier, which is of course the Crypt Gus Courtier. Now his stats haven't changed either, and then going into his abilities, so we've got the one that allows you to return crypt ghouls to a unit, or serfs they're called now. That hasn't changed. And then you've got Trophy Hunter. What has not changed either. Okay, and yeah, that's all for the courtiers. Right, and then actually going into the units. So firstly, I think I'm going to start with the Crypt Horrors. So Crypt Horrors, the basic stats haven't changed from what I can see, just looking at them there. Abilities wise, Chosen of the King. So you can reroll hit rolls for attacks that are made by this unit while it's wholly within 18 inches of a friendly abhorrent. Okay, so before it used to be just within 15 inches of a, Ghoul King, I think it was. I know it was the Ghoul King, but I think that was the keyword they used. However, now wholly within 18 inches. So the range has got bigger, but wholly. So I'd say that this ability has got worse because it was so easy just to tag, like a massive unit of Crypt Horrors or, Crypt Ghouls. I'm sure I've got a similar change. Just tag them in within 15 inches to get, this ability off. It's such a massive ability for the Crypt Horrors. It's so, easy to do, and you can make it affect more than one unit and so on. But that has changed now. So it's not changed where it's like, it's hard to do, but you just have to sort of dedicate maybe that, abhorrence to deal, to give the buff to a certain big unit of ghouls or, Crypt Horrors. So, yeah, that's a negative change, but it could be worse, I suppose. You could always take away the ability, couldn't they? Because that ability is absolutely horrendous when used right. Okay, and then you've got Noble Blood, hasn't changed, and then Warrior Elite. So if the unmodified wound roll for attack made with a club and septic talents is 6, that attacks with damage calculator of 3 instead of 2, so that has not changed either. And then keywords, obviously they've gained the Knight keyword. Right, now then, moving on to the Crypt Flares, so the brothers of the Crypt Horrors. Right, okay, so their basic stats haven't changed. And then going into the abilities, so we've got the Death Scream, to see if that's changed. So do not use attack sequence for an attack made with a Death Scream. Instead, roll 2d6. Okay, so this has changed. Subtract 2 if the target unit is more than 3 inches from the attacking model. If the result is higher than the target's unit's bravery characteristic, that target unit suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the difference between the bravery characteristic and the result. Okay now, right, that is a lot better than it was before. Before it was a case of you roll a dice, you +1 to it, the difference between that and the enemy's bravery is how much more wounds they take. A lot of the time, they didn't take any more wounds. Sometimes you got excited because you think you did, and then they didn't. And then sometimes, on a very, very, very rare occasion, they took mortal wounds. There was only one way to try and pursue this goal of doing mortal wounds through this ability was to take the artifact, I think it's called the Grim Garland, something along those lines, which used to give to my Terrorgeist, which used to make enemy units within 6 inches of the abhorrent Ghoul King on Terrorgeist at -2 to their bravery. And then that turned their crappy shooting attack into either a really good shooting attack if you're playing against things like, Night Goblins back then, and, well, I say Night Goblins, I mean, Mechanic-Lots, obviously, and you've got, your Skaven, you've got things like the Ogres weren't particularly good, and, Iron Jaw, stuff like that. Things with not very good bravery, that was very good when you made them -2, but against other things, it didn't really come into it too much. But now with this, you're giving each one of them a Banshee Scream. As long as they are within as long as they're within combat range of you, you're giving them a Banshee Scream attack, which the only reason you pay sort of 80 points for the Banshee character is to use their Screaming attack. Now each one of these gets that Screaming attack. It's just not very good at its further range, as if it's not within combat range then you're going to be -2 from whatever you rolled. So not as good, but still really good, guys. Really big change here in my personal opinion. I think it's huge. I think, yeah, it's going to be, we're going to say it's going to be more swingy, but actually it is if you're shooting at something that's further away than you. You might not do as good as you did before, obviously, depending on their bravery and stuff. However, like I would say, 4 out of 5 times, guys, this is going to be better than how it was before, because you're rolling the 2d6. Yeah, you could roll really low and be crap, or you could roll really high. Right as if, for just one of these models in the unit, you roll 2 6s, and the enemy's right in front of you, and their bravery characteristics, it's a moderate 6. That is going to take 6 mortal wounds. That's absolutely insane. I run these guys in units of 12. That's horrendous, and I can't wait to unleash this vileness upon my enemies. So that's that. And then looking at the next ability, we've got the Skewing Strike. So if your modified hit roll for an attack made with a piercing talent is a 6, that attack inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to normal damage. Okay, so before it used to be on a 6+, you take a mortal wound. Firstly, let's unwrap that. You look at something when it's like a 6+ to trigger this ability, you think, oh, that's good, because if I do like give him a plus from the hit, it makes it go easier. In second edition, it's harder to get plus to the hit in comparison to be minus the hit. So if it was still an unmodified hit roll of a 6, it would be bad, because the enemy can make you minus the hit and then it's pointless. So now you're always going to do mortal wounds. That's fantastic. The second part of this, and the most important part, is that it's an addition to your normal damage. So you're making 4 attacks here, guys. 4s and 3s, 1s from rend, and 1 damage. That's not a bad characteristic in itself. And you're going to be doing mortal wounds on, unmodified hit rolls of 6 as well. So really good change here, guys. Crit flares have definitely got better. They've also, again, the Knight's keyword. The one thing about this, though, is that, as I've said, I've been running flares for years now. Well, since the book came out, really, for the Battle Tomes. I sort of looked through it and I saw like the Dead Watch Battalion. I was like, I want that. And yes, been running it for years, taken it to lots of tournaments, all that sort of thing, and absolutely loved it. However, now, from a very self-centered point of view, I am very annoyed about this, because this means everyone else is going to do flares. Not everyone, but some people doing Flesh Eater Courts, they'll see the flares and think, yeah, I'll make an army of that. And it's very self-centered of me to think like that, I know, but I can be a very jealous bastard. So yes, I am annoyed that, it's my own personal army, no one's going to do it. And like I said, it's a very self-centered point for me, and not good, but, I can't help but feel like that. But, it's good that crit flares have got better. However, I do expect their points to go up as a result of this, I think. I think they are 160 points now, I believe. I think when the book comes out, they're going to be 180, I reckon. I think they will go up, because they've overtaken horrors now, in if they were better or not. The horrors, I used to think flares were better at first, because I was back when I played against the Stormcast meta, where it's like 2 up stage rolling 1s everywhere, and you needed rend and mortal wounds. And then I switched back to horrors at the start of 2nd edition, because Mystic Shield had changed, saves weren't as good, and horrors have got higher damage potential. And then I am now looking at flares more favourably, because yeah, they're not doing 2 damage with their their attack. However, they're making 4 attacks anyway, so 1 more attack than the standard attack for the horrors. But also, they've got a chance to do a mortal wound in addition to normal damage. So they've actually got a chance of doing, 2 damage with each attack. I know that's quite hard to get, but it is potential. So I think they really maybe... I don't know if they're better than horrors right now, but I would say that they're definitely on the same level, if not better. I'd probably say they are better now, especially when you add in their movement. They can fly, all those sorts of things. I think that really does add up to them being better. But I'm not going to give my final verdict until obviously I get my hands on the Battle Tome guys. But these guys, the flares, have definitely got better. Won't be surprised if they go up in points to 180, I think. Hopefully not, but best be prepared, I reckon. Right, okay, and then moving on to our humble but effective foot soldiers. And this, of course, is being the Crypt Ghouls. So their basic stats have not changed, and they just read through the rest of them. So they've got Boundless Ferocity. So add 1 to the attacks characteristics of this unit. They're sharpened teeth if they got 21 models, so that hasn't changed. Royal Approval, so you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by this unit while it is wholly within 18 inches of any friendly opponents. So again, guys, like I mentioned, there's the Cryptosaurus. This ability has got worse. No way around it. Yes, the range has got bigger by, what, 3 inches, because it's, 18 inches now, but it's wholly, so you can't string your units out. You can't. It's going to be harder to make more units benefit from, having basically a Ghoul King nearby. So unfortunately, that has changed, but, Crypt Ghouls, they're still good. It's just that ability I really liked on the horrors because it was all failed hit rolls. But, yeah, so just something bearing in mind there, guys, that they, in my personal opinion, they've got a bit weaker because of that. And then looking at their keywords, they gain the serves keyword, I believe that's pronounced. Yes. So, and that is quite dominant, as well as the knights on a lot of the abilities now. It will pronounce their keywords rather than the actual name for the war scroll. And then looking, I can tell you from the Royal Zombie Dragon, it's now called, apart from the name change, which are going to be battle line unit. I think if you go for one of the courts, especially Court's army, but we're not going to see full details until we get the book, but I think it works like that. That hasn't changed in its rules and all that sort of thing. The Terrorgeist has only changed, and it's Royal Terrorgeist now, of course, and it's only changed in the same way how it has if you've got a point Ghoul King riding it about, how it's more, it's fanged more, ability has changed and stuff like that, as we've already talked about. Okay, and I wasn't going to look at the Abhorrent Archregent, but have a quick read of him, shall we, whilst we're looking at the Warscrolls. So, he has got a movement of 6 inches, he's got a 4+ save, he's got bravery 10, 7 wounds, he's got 7 wounds, guys, that's really good. And the other stats are good. And this is just going to be a really, really quick review, as like I said, I can review it properly when we have all the details and the battle time to hand. Okay, so, and then going on to his ability, it says Imperial Blood. So, an Abhorrent Archregent has unnatural vitality that heals ghastly wounds in moments. So it says, in your hero phase, you can heal up to 3 wounds allocated to this model. Heal up to 3 wounds, that's really good. Because, obviously, if we look at just the Ghoul King, he can heal up to D3. So healing up to 3 is really good. So when we come to summon Imperial Guard, which is his ability, we've heard little glimpse about this, but actually let's read it for full. So it says you can use this command ability at the end of your movement phase. If you do so, pick one friendly model that has this command ability and has not used it before in battle. That model summons one of the following units to the battlefield: 1 courtier, 1 unit of up to 3 knights, or 1 unit of up to 20 serfs. The summoned unit is added to your army and must be set up wholly within 6 inches off the edge of the battlefield and more than 9 inches away from the enemy. Okay, so firstly, that's the same as it used to be. Well, when I say it used to be, I apologise. That is the same as what all the other abhorrent, Ghoul King command abilities are. You've got the one on the foot that brings the ghouls on. You've got the one on the Terrorgeist that brings in the flares or the horrors, and you've got the one on the zombie dragon that can bring in the courtiers. And what this guy does is he allows you to choose which one you need for your, in your hour of need, essentially. And something that's important to note is that actually his one for bringing on like ghouls is better because you can set up a unit of up to 20 of them, which is definitely a big increase, huge increase. Instead of bringing on 100 points worth of models, you bring on 200 points worth of models for a free if it's the first time you're using it, of course. So yeah, that's pretty good. And when I say for free, because you spend a command point to it, that's how it is currently. I presume that's how it's going to be in the new battle tome. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but they said that in the latest Gems handbook, so I imagine they're not going to get rid of it too quickly. Although it's been a little while, I think it will stay the same, as it seems like quite a fair mechanic. Right, okay, and then going into its magic, it says, this model is a wizard. It can attempt to cast 2 spells in your hero phase and attempt to unbind 2 spells in the enemy hero phase. It knows the Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, and Ferocious Hunger spells. 2 spells? Really? That's not bad. I mean, that's not bad at all. I mean, this is what makes me think this guy is going to be quite heavy in the points cost for what he looks like. Because 2 spells, he's a small little guy and he can cast that. I'm sorry, I'm just quite shocked because you get these massive monsters who are casters and they can only cast 1 spell and stuff like that. Like a Chaos Sorcerer Lord on Manticore can cast 1 spell. If he's a sorcerer on a Manticore, you think, okay, he's a bit bigger, maybe cast it. And then if he's a Sorcerer Lord, you think, okay, he can cast more than 1, but he can't. However, this little foot guy can do so. So yeah, that is generally really good. Unbinding 2 spells is good. He's going to be the strongest caster Flesh Eater's Courts have from what I can see so far. Okay, and then going on to his Magic Solar's unique spell. I haven't read about this before, but I'll read it again because it is really good. So Ferocious Hunger has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick one friendly Flesh Eater Courts unit wholly within 24 inches of the caster and is visible to them, and roll a d3. Add the roll to the attack characteristics the melee weapons used by that unit till your next hero phase. Okay, I talked why this is. Well, firstly, everyone knows they're amazing on ghouls because then you make them have stupid amount of attacks and then they just chuck dice at the enemy and the enemy just can't deal with it. However, like I say, put this in horrors and it's absolutely lovely. Yeah, it'd be harder to get your reroll on all failed hit rolls. Now you can do it, you just might have to dedicate a abhorrent, which is also Portrait region or the Ghoul King nearby them just to give them that ability essentially. But yeah, absolutely amazing spell. For sure, definitely something that I'll be casting all the time because why not? So then it's the Arcane Bomb. Sure, that hasn't changed. So guys, that's really all that we have here. So like I said, I aim for this to be a quick video. It's quite quick to be fair. All the Warscrolls have gone through. I know it's been quite fast paced. I won't be showing the pictures of the Warscrolls either, as I've already explained why that'll be a bit complicated. So as you can see, probably throughout the video, I just have some artwork or something. And like I say, I know this video might feel a bit rushed and all that sort of thing. But it is literally just my first reactions off these Warscrolls that have been updated for the Flesh Eater Courts. And to be fair, most of them have been updated. So, overall opinion so far, I would say, overall, definitely better. Definitely better, 100%. Yep, there's been a few things like the Cryptoris, like ability reroll the hit rolls, and the Ghouls to be able to do that, has been nerfed a little bit. Yep, but I was expecting that. I was expecting to be wholly within 15 inches. Wholly within 18 inches isn't too bad. Really good changes, obviously, come in the shape of the Crypt Flares. A massive improvement to them, which is great to see. Another good change is that the Fanged Maw for the Terrorgeist ability to, or Gaping Maw, whatever the ability is called, to do the 6 more wounds is now an unmodified hit roll of 6. That's made that better. The Archer Regent, although it isn't an updated Warscroll, certainly adds a lot of synergy to the army. It's great to read through that. And that's pretty much it for the changes. I mean, yeah, there's a few other ones I mentioned and stuff before. Overall, definitely good changes. Things I was worried about, I thought the Courtier ability to bring back models to a unit was going to become wholly within 15 inches or maybe even wholly within 10 inches, which would have really, really have nerfed the army. Like, that would have made you have to dedicate like a Courtier to each unit that you wanted to keep alive, basically, rather than keeping them in the middle and sort of sharing the love, if you like. So it's great to see that that was not changed to that. It's still, you just have to be within 10 inches of these Courtiers to bring back those models. It's great to see that's still there and they haven't nerfed it too much. Absolutely fantastic. So yes guys, so that is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe and comment down below. That does all help me massively, as I always tell you. Honestly, the best thing you can do for me right now. And what I would say is, like I said, this has just been a quick video on it. However, rest assured, when I have my hands on the Battletome, and when I do and I have time to do a video, I will definitely review it in full detail. I'm happy to spend as much time as needed to go through each Warscroll to find out all the synergies, as this army is my baby. I look very much forward to playing it. Today I have ordered my stuff. I did go a little bit overboard with the Battletomes. I went for the limited edition. I know it's twice the money and it's £100 for 2 books. I know, but Flesh Eater Courts, like I always say, is my army. That's why I'm so upset that it's going to become popular from a really self-centered point of view. It's my army. I love them. I wanted to, make them feel a bit special. So, basically buying the collector's edition really will just, it's nice to do things for, armies that use. Like, I've always done a Flesh Eater Courts since they came out. They're not like an army I've done for 10 minutes and like sort of play it every now and again. They're an army like, if I play a game, it'll be my Flesh Eater Courts. So it's really nice to sort of treat yourself a bit for the army, which I, sort of did. I had to. And then with the Skaven one, I love the Skaven. The Skaven one, I figured that one, if any of them were to sell out the limited editions, it would be the Skaven one, just because of how popular that army is, how much that army deserves the love. So it's very nice to get the collector's editions for that as well. And then, unfortunately, though, I haven't ordered the Carrion Empire as yet, or the spells, or the Warscroll cards, or not even the dice for the Skaven. And the reason for this is because I was going to order that stuff from a website called Darksphere, just because of, it's a big order, so I wanted to get a little bit of a discount on it. And, well, when I say a little bit, it's quite a good discount you get there, so hence why I wanted to order there. However, they're out of stock within 3 minutes of them going online. So yeah, unfortunately because of that, I haven't ordered, like I said, all the extra bits, which I will do. I mean, the Carrion Empire, I will definitely get, obviously. I'm just going to wait for that to come back in stock. However, like I said, I've got loads of models. I've got, like, you know, about 7,000 points of Skaven to paint. You know, I've got the, well, I've got loads of, I've told you guys multiple times, I've got like 5,000 or 6,000 worth points for Flesh Eater Courts. I've got more that need to be made already. The only things I just really wanted was the 2 named characters. And when I say named characters, I just mean the 2 characters you get in the box, just the 2 generic heroes. But the priority for me was to get the Battle Tomes. So that's why I was like, no, can't wait for these to come, you know, back in stock to get them a discount. And I'm getting them to edition anyway, so yeah, get them from Games Workshop. So like, no, got to get these, got to get them as soon as possible so I can start reviewing them and start basically soaking them in with information. And, you know, can't wait to do that for me. And then also can't wait to start, you know, reviewing it and putting it on the channel, you know, just to share the thoughts and stuff and hear your guys' thoughts. Absolutely amazing. And yes, very much looking forward to this. Like I said, this was a quick video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. I thank you very much for watching this. Let me know what you've ordered down below. It'd be great to hear. And remember, until next time, Nagash is all, and all is one in Nagash.